Okay, busy. I can see somebody's busy. Thankful, that's a nice one. Tired. Sleepy. Hopefully you won't be sleepy after this session. Busy, lots of busy. Okay, happy. That's nice. Optimistic. That's cool as well. Yalla, guys, we want to, this should be like a painting. More of you, yalla. Hey, we'll give just a few more seconds for those of you valued, courageous. That's nice. Proud. That's really a nice one as well. Energetic. That's amazing. Okay. Anxious. Somebody's anxious. I hope that this session will help you to feel Heike, more energetic and less anxious and stressed out. Happy. I'm really glad that a lot of you is in the red actually, and also in the green. But the red one is like the energetic one. So hopefully the session will help you get a lot of positive energy. Don't shy away from using all the interactions you have, all the chat tools that you have, and also participating just and voicing all your opinions. So Mona, that's it for me. I guess we can move on to the next section.
Thank you, Sarah. That was amazing. So thank you guys for all your, okay, I need to, I need to remove the annotations. 1 second. Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about common entrepreneurial pitfalls, and I will give you some examples from your own projects on how they could even be better. And then we will break it out into rooms so we can hear from every single one of you. One of the most common problems in entrepreneurship that some entrepreneurs would be really excited or motivated about solving a specific problem that is pertinent to them. And although this is not bad, this is sometimes we see it positively. It will give them an unfair advantage because they understand the problem very well. However, you should also remember that you cannot create a full solution that solves one person's problems, because this won't be profitable, it won't be sustainable, it won't make a lot of business sense really. So even if you are solving your own problem in the solution that you have thought of, make sure to also do your homework, do your research, and do your empathy in order to understand what other people think about this problem, what are the specifics in terms of how they feel about the problem, how this could be better for them. So although it might start out with it being something personal, don't keep it personal for too long, and make sure that you really open up to other people's problems to understand it from their perspective and not just yours. So this is point number one. Point number two is that a lot of us will make a lot of assumptions as we move along our entrepreneurial endeavor, and this is very normal. It's the only way to do things. You will have a lot of hypotheses that you'll be testing along the way. However, make sure to test them. Don't just say, I'm sure this is it. I'm sure that this is the problem they want and this is the solution they're going to love. Don't assume that they won't be using your competitor's solution because yours is local, for example. Just don't make such assumptions, and make sure to validate these hypotheses instead of just going with your intuition. There isn't really a lot of room for intuition in entrepreneurship. You have to keep doing a lot of research and a lot of testing and validation as you go along. So remember that all of these are still applicable to your project, and it's not too late. Like, even if you are falling into these pitfalls, it's not too late to rectify. All right, so if you're just solving your problem, it's not too late to start thinking of others. If you have too many hypotheses that you didn't validate, it's still not too late to validate them. And this is the beauty of teamwork. If you are working in a team, and the vast majority are, to make sure you divide the tasks and distribute the roles so that each one has something to do. For example, some of you will be more busy doing the website development and the others, they don't feel that much involved. So maybe you want to do some validation of these hypotheses, do more empathy with the people facing the problem, and so on. Jumping to the solution without having a clear understanding of the targeted problem. Again, let's go back to the design thinking module. It was the second module in the program, and we really emphasize on the importance of understanding the problem inside out before we throw any solutions. And this is why your very first submission was just like, tell me a problem, and like, don't mention anything about the solution. So although that was the case, still some of you might have been triggered by a certain solution in mind. We are all sometimes very, very enthusiastic about certain solutions that we think of, but don't let this enthusiasm prevent you from understanding the problem before you move on to the solution. So this is very important. Thinking that money is the most crucial success element. I mean, I hope we don't have this here, because since the very first lesson, the very first module, we emphasized that we are doing this for the social good, for the sake of the community, for you to become responsible citizens and to contribute positively to solving the sustainable development goals. So I hope that money for you is not the only metric that will drive success, but you have many other metrics that you're thinking about as well. If you have any comments, let me know. Yes, Sarah?
Yeah, I want to add something just on that point. Even if you're not social entrepreneurs, even if like doing social good is not the main thing of your startup, always keep in mind that money is an accelerator to a great plan. Money, and if you have money and you don't have the plan, you don't have the team, you don't have the resources, you're not being strategic, money is not going to make you successful. And this is something that was said by Robert Herjavec. And if you know Shark Tank, and I encourage all of you to watch it, he's like a shark investor. So don't think that if you don't have money, you're not going to have success. Money will come after you have the right plan and the right team. Voila. So I want to add this.
Yes, exactly. And in case you are struggling with finding a business model that makes sense, given that we have asked all of you to have an environmental problem and a social impact. So if you're not knowing how to have a business model, let us know and we will support you as well. Waiting to be confident in MVP to launch. As you have seen in one of the modules, an MVP stands for minimum viable product. So this is like another term for a prototype that you can use with actual users. Okay, so it is a bit of a developed prototype, let's call it. You should never wait too long to have the perfect prototype or a perfect product to launch and start testing. So why do we launch? Because we really need to test. Again, going back to the lean startup methodology, the build, measure, learn loop, it's very important for you to start testing right away. And I want to tell you that anybody of you who will be testing their solutions in any way possible, so through WhatsApp, through some other social media tools, through like a physical interaction, not necessarily through the actual website that you're building, this will be always a plus in terms of your project and the evaluation. So although it is not required for you to have actually implemented your solution in this program, make sure that if you have done any kind of implementation, this will definitely be a huge plus, and it might contribute to you being one of the top teams at the end of the program. So keep this in mind. And again, we're not making it complicated. You can really start testing and validating with very simple things and very simple ways, like we explained in the prototyping module. Finally, losing focus on creating a positive environment for the team to strive. So I know that teamwork is not easy, whether you're at school, at university, creating a company, or you're employed and working with other people in the company, teamwork is always tricky. However, don't forget to enjoy the process. So the whole idea behind Shabab Lab and this program that we are piloting with your schools, Web for Change, is for you to have a positive feeling about yourself, your contribution to your community, to have a positive feeling about what you can do in the world to make it a better place, what you can do in technology to use it for the betterment of the environment and humanity. So don't lose that positive feeling, positive environment by stressing, each other just to meet deadlines or just to win at the end. Make sure to enjoy the journey and enjoy every step along the way.
Mona, can I add also to
Of
that
course.
point? Yeah, so also about the team, because I know many of you are friends. So you're friends and then you're trying to work together. You want to make sure that your friendship is not affected negatively by you working together. And the way you do it is really creating an environment where you support each other, where you allow each other to speak up when you have a challenge. Take a time every now and then to do a fun activity together. So it's not all like work, 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 make the decks, meet the deadlines, etc. Make sure to be there as people for each other and always make it be happy and optimistic and create a positive energy.
Exactly, especially that you're working on something that's really positive, impactful, and we want you to learn this positivity and this ability and capability to make a real change. This is for us the most important thing. Now, I want to talk about some tips for you to make your solution stand out. So I took a quick look at your submitted ideas. I still didn't have enough time to comment on everything, and I hope that your supervisors and teachers will also be commenting. But I realized some common issues, let's call them. They're not really big problems, but they could be improved. One of the things is that a lot of you in your solution, you have a general solution targeting somehow a general problem. I'll take an example. Let's say the problem of clothes waste. Okay, a lot of us after after some time we get bored of our clothes and we feel we need a change, or we don't have any more space in our closets and we need just to get rid of some clothes, or you're still growing in size regardless of the reason. So there's a lot of like fabric waste going on in the world. This is a problem that like everybody knows about, and it is a very good problem to work on. However, if you just want to create a website, let's say, that will allow you to redistribute these donated clothes cheaply to the less privileged communities, you're still tackling a very big problem. I'll tell you how you can make it more specific. For example, you can target only school students or only maybe high school students, and you can create donation campaigns with with some incentives for them to have I don't know, points or rewards if they donate a large amount of clothes. The more they donate, the more awards and rewards they will get. And then through your online platform and e-commerce platform, you can sell these also to a specific like part of the vulnerable communities. Because if you want to think about it from a feasibility perspective, it's not that easy to really target the entire clothes donation problem, the entire clothes distribution solution, and it's very costly in logistics wise. And if you are selling this very cheaply, you maybe didn't think a lot about the logistics price, like to the delivery, like warehousing, things like that. So you want to make it more specific. Don't just say, no, I want to solve the big problem. We do understand your incentives and we do understand that you want to make a big difference. However, this will not make it effective or feasible. So make sure you are very specific, okay? And in order to mitigate for this specificity, if you don't really like to be very specific, you can actually have a plan. Like, all right, so I'm starting with only high schools in Beirut, let's say, or in Beirut greater area. However, we plan after 2 years' time, 3 years' time to expand this segment. Okay, so you can have in your business plan and you can have in your pitch as well. And Sarah has something to say about this point of being specific.
Yes, I actually have something that I recommend to all entrepreneurs, which is to adopt the KISS principle, KISS, which stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Because I know, especially for your age, you think the more complicated and sophisticated the idea or the product idea is, the better you're going to be at it, or the higher success chance you'll have. Whereas, in fact, it's the other way around. You want it to be very simple and very realistic at the beginning. You want to be able to test it. You want to be able to do something and be very good at it, and then start expanding and growing vertically and horizontally. So remember to always keep it simple and stupid.
Yes, Thank you, Sarah, for that. It's amazing. So again, to mitigate for this simplicity or the KISS principle, you can simply have a good plan on the long term. Like this will make you feel better. It's like I'm not doing something that's very small, but it's only for now. Because again, if you do something that's very complex or try to do something very complex, very big, the jury who are evaluating your ideas will know this is not very feasible. Okay, they have a lot of expertise and they can exactly tell which ideas are feasible and which ones are not that feasible. And definitely there is a grade on feasibility in terms of your score, like how well you're going to score uh, in comparison to the other teams. So make sure you make it very specific. You have a plan for the long term, and you need to show us the community impact. Again, remember, guys, this is part of your community service. In all the programs, okay, in the different schools, this is part of your community service. So you have to show us how you are helping your community. And what do we mean by your community? It's your community, your circle, not just like Lebanon. I know Lebanon is a small country, true, but still Lebanon is a whole country. It's 6 million people. I cannot reach 6 million people easily. It's a big number. Still, it's a very big number for one person to be able to reach 6 million people. You need a lot of money, a lot of marketing, a lot of like creative tools and partnerships and so on to reach 6 million people. So you'd rather I would rather that you focus on your smaller community. So for example, if you are tackling the problem of beach waste or like sea cleanliness and so on, like the Lebanese shore is long, right? So where are you located? Of course, you could be living in Beirut, but you could be originally from another place. You might want to start with that community if it's easier for you, because again, Beirut is a big city. There's a lot of pollution. It might be easier for you, for example, to do it in Nakura than in Beirut, for example, to start with. And if you happen to be from there, then why not start from there? So just show us the relevance with your own community. And for the teams, so I know you are working in diverse teams. Not all of the teams come from the same place. Just decide, okay, we want to do this for this place. It's fine. Don't feel offended if it's not your, hometown or not the place where you reside. Because again, you need to start from one place and then you can move to more places and move to a bigger plan. So believe me, if you make it specific, you have a good plan for the long term, and you show us your exact community impact. Again, community is your own circle. Then you will be standing out in terms of the project in comparison to the rest. Any questions on that? Awesome. So, 1 second. Now what I want to do is really create some breakout rooms. And what I will be doing is, because I'm recording this meeting, I will stay in the main room and I'll have a group of people with me in the main room, and each of Yasmin, Wasim, and Sarah will go into one breakout room basically.
Muna, how long will we have in the breakout room?
Around 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Can we just share the questions before we?
Yes, sure. Let me do that. Oops. Yes.
So, okay, so I can comment if you want. So basically, when we head into the breakout rooms in just about a minute, you'll be asked to answer these questions in order for us to get to know each other better, and also see how we can help you with the challenges you are facing currently with your ideas. And also you can get feedback from your peers. So these are the questions that we'll be discussing shortly.
Thank you, Sarah. So guys, if you want to take note of them, especially the facilitators, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just creating the rooms now.
I think, Muna, if you drop them in the chat, if you can copy paste them as well, then they will remain even in the breakout rooms.
Yes, okay, I'll do that. 1 second. Okay, I just need to make sure that the okay. All right, just a second. I will copy paste and send them on the chat. All right, so these are the questions. And now I will open all the rooms. Those who will not be assigned to a room will stay with me in the main room. All right, guys. So those who are still in this room, you're assigned with me basically. So again, I would like to see your pretty faces if possible. Awesome. And yes, if we can raise hands, maybe that would be a great way to start. All right. So again, just introduce me to yourself at the beginning and then tell me more about how your entrepreneurship view has changed. What did you like most about the program? What did you hate the most? And maybe one concept that stuck really well with you and you think you're going to be using it more and more in the future. Tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to do in your project and the biggest challenge. So Samaya, you might want to start.
Before that, I have a question. My electricity cut out in Lebanon, so it's expected. And it cut out when you were talking about the plus and success factors. Would you mind repeating what you said?
All right. So if you want, we do have this recorded if you would like to check it again. But very quickly, we were saying that you need to make sure that you have a very specific problem that you're trying to solve and you are being very specific with your solution. Like don't aim very big, very high now. Okay, so your actual solution should be very specific. And you, in order to mitigate for the specificity, which might not make everybody feel comfortable because you have like bigger plans, bigger ambitions, you can mitigate that with having a plan for the future, like have a solid plan on how you believe this could grow in the future. But for now, you have to keep it very small and simple. And finally, you need to show us that you have a clear community impact. And by community, we mean your close circle, not like my community is not Lebanon in general, even though Lebanon is a small country, but my community is like my community. It could be my building, okay? It could be my neighborhood, my street. It could be my school. It could be my workplace, okay? My hometown, I don't know, the beach where I go to every summer. That's my community. Like, don't just say like Lebanon, the world, the Middle East. No. Okay, so have it very specific and show us the specific impact.
Thank you.
All right, Yala, since you started with your questions, let's start with you then, Samaya. So from which school are you?
Okay, so I attend International College, Ras Beirut, and I'm 15 years old. Of course, I think we're all like in 10th grade.
Yeah.
Around age range. And I do view my entrepreneurship change throughout this program since I'm learning about entrepreneurship on a lower level. I knew about it briefly, however, now I'm learning about it in detail and how I can change the world through instilling a more through developing more entrepreneurial skills and honing those skills in order to become a better and a more informed global citizen. Or generally like Lebanese citizen, if we're talking about on a smaller scale. Um, what I really liked about the Shabab Lab program is that it's really you taught like the idea is usually through online learning it's much more difficult for us to really understand certain topics. However, you divided everything into tiny bits and pieces, and you focus, like you mentioned, nitty-gritty details that may not have been mentioned if it were through Zoom meetings, for example. And I found it really like to be really effective and efficient on like my behalf. Okay, and I really like that. In general, I really like the idea of this like whole initiative, and it's going to stay with us forever. Like our impact on the community will stay with us forever, and that's why me and my friend and I were like, we're not generally here to win, but we're here to make change. Um, one aspect I learned about was in general entrepreneurship skills, like how we can, in general, like through this meeting too, I learned a lot about how we should start small and have like as we grow, work more on our project and like make it on a bigger scale, like try to make change on a bigger scale, just expand as we grow and work on specifics generally. I also learned about market research. I found it really interesting about how we had to actually study our consumers before actually, and our like the targeted audience before actually beginning our initiative and finding solutions, because that's really important. Um, okay, what do you mean social startup? Like you mean as
Yes,
in
your
what I was
solution. Yeah, what's your
social problem?
solution? Tell us more about your idea.
So my friend and I, Celine Nuruddin, we're solving, like we're talking about fast fashion, since it's the second most pollutant industry in the world. And as we are also really interested in fashion, we decide one solution, of course, it's obvious, it's slow fashion, but we're going to we're going to focus on it in a smaller scale. So slow fashion as in what? We're thinking of, because in Lebanon, we're focusing on the Lebanese community, especially students our age, and in girls in part. I think girls and boys, but girls in particular, since we can resonate more with them. We're thinking of starting like introducing slow fashion to our community and just educating, like informing them about the brands that in Lebanon that actually practice ethical, like are that are really ethical and environmentally friendly in it, like, and it would be a plus if they were also like human friendly in general, because slow fashion not only advocates for environmentally friendly brands, but like also like being environmentally friendly, but also for like being human friendly as well, and for like paying workers like the pay that they deserve per se. So this is one idea. And what is the biggest challenge we're facing in this project? It's the idea, like I think it's all really like we're going to get, like we're out of our comfort zone, because we have to, like we're trying to find a solution to such a big problem, and it's really difficult because we have so many choices, and choosing from those choices is just generally really difficult. And but now, since we actually, like in the beginning we were facing a challenge deciding on like what will really like separate us from all of these fashion, because there are so many apps that tell us about like the brands that are really eco-friendly and everything. We thought that because we were more focused, and because for example, I took a fashion elective, and I think that like I'm more educated on fashion, and we're very creative and artistic, and I also have an environmental blog, so I'm also really educated on like how to develop a website, how to attract a particular audience, and how to in general like be more very interactive with your audience. So in general, like this was one challenge we faced, and we overcame it through communicating with each other and sharing like our ideas and building on each other's ideas too, and through of course like doing research.
I love it. Thank you so much, Samaya, for this like sharing. And I'm happy that you worked out the challenges and you seem to have a very nice unfair advantage. So make sure to mention this in your pitch. Yara, Kharat, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Yara. I'm in international college. My view on entrepreneurship definitely changed. At first, I didn't know that there were several sections to it and different approaches, and it's completely different learning about it and actually experiencing it. I really liked definitely, like Samaya said, the structure that was able to be on our own pace, because we're able to go back and rewatch the videos if we missed any concept. There is supplementary material to help us better understand, and it helps us be able to take notes and follow up better. I don't have anything that I didn't like. I actually think it's a very good process. One concept that I've learned that I think is going to stick with me is the design thinking process, since it really helped me organize my thoughts, and it really took something that seemed so complex to me and made it simple. Because before, when I used to think of one issue, I used to have kind of a jumble of thoughts like all together, and now I'm able to organize it and take a step-by-step process. Our social startup idea is basically tackling the issue of lack of funding for reserves and publicity, which also affects the biodiversity in these reserves. So basically, we're hoping through our app, in order to raise more awareness, to have reserves reach more people that would be interested in the environment but don't know where to find it, and also people who are interested in the organic products that reserves sell, because they're not really accessible to people and for their communities. The biggest challenge we're currently facing, I would say, is knowing, or like being able to confirm if our idea is actually feasible, and having and being able to evolve our idea as well, because we would like to keep it simple, so we don't want it to be too complicated, and we also want it to be unique and different. So that's our biggest issue right now.
So my advice to you, Yara, is you can start off by talking to a few of those reserves and see how they like this idea and whether they would be willing to list their products on your e-commerce or whatever you are calling it, your website. And this would be some kind of traction. We're gonna tomorrow open up the pitching module, and you're gonna see that one aspect that you need to talk about in your pitch is traction. Like, what have you achieved so far? If you could convince one or more of the reserves to be on the list, then this is proving that this is something interesting. All right.
Yeah, we actually did plan to do that. Today we're going to be contacting them, but thank you for your insight. It's really helpful.
Awesome. So who would like to go next, or shall I just choose? Tamara, since you have your camera open, let's go.
Hi, my name is Tamara Aitani. I go to IC. And yeah, my view on entrepreneurship definitely changed, because before I used to think that entrepreneurs were only people who came up with something completely new, and not what we are doing today. As well, I learned that there are different types of entrepreneurship, and I did not know that before. What I like most about Shabab Lab, about Shabab Lab program, is that it's accessible. Like, I can, whenever I'm bored or whenever I have time, because like we have so much work at school, so whenever I have time to work, I can just work on it whenever I want. And I also like the feedback that you're receiving, because it really helps. What is one concept that I learned? The thing about market research, like the importance of market research, and I love how everything was divided into modules, so it me like organize my thoughts. And the same thing about design thinking that Yara said, as well, the techniques for coming up with the solution, for example, the superhero technique, like those techniques, like I feel like I could use them a lot in the future because they really helped me come up with the solution. The social startup idea that I'm working on is the one that's addressing all the clothes that are being thrown into landfills. And the idea basically is to come up with a website and through which people can not donate, but like we could buy, like for example, per kilogram. We're not 100% set on our solution, but like for example, I could a person would want to sell the clothing, so we could buy per kilogram of clothing like 10 tau, and we'd sell it to people who can't afford the clothing in regular stores, and they could do their own shopping on the website. And the biggest challenge I'm facing is probably being more specific in the solution, and also like minimizing the things that I'm addressing, because the thing is, also within the solution, if there's any clothes that are tattered that are given to us by the people, in order to provide work for people in the community, we suggested that women who are unemployed and are skilled in repairing clothing could work with us, so they could repair the clothing that is tattered. And yes, and yeah, that's our biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, Tamara. So basically, I have a few thoughts for you. First of all, look at what others are doing. For example, Fabric Aid is a very popular example, and they are really good at what they're doing. So again, it's not wrong to replicate what somebody else has done, but you always need to have an edge, okay, to say, okay, why are you better, or how are you different? Another thing is, like, if you want to go to the last thing you said, for example, having these women fixing these clothes and maybe creating like you are creating this, like you're closing the loop on like clothes that are not good enough to be reused as is, then maybe you should focus on that. Okay, so for example, you say, you know, a lot of NGOs or social enterprises are already collecting good clothes to redistribute. We want to collect like the clothes that nobody wants or believes they could be worn again, and we're gonna make something out of them. Like it could be, you know, something a little bit different. So yeah, I think you just have to focus on one like vertical, and don't say I want to solve the entire problem. Like just focus on one thing for now, and with time it could grow. Okay, like Fabric Aid, I always bring them as guest speakers, by the way. And like we are going to have some videos with their like entrepreneur, the founder. So basically, he always shows us or tells us how this has changed with time, like how it started out with one thing and now they have multiple stores. Like they have a solution for middle class people. They are going to other countries and so on, but it always starts from one thing. Okay, so keep this in mind. Let's hear from one of the boys. So maybe Samer, or who would like to go?
I can go.
Yes, sure, please go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I'm in IC in the International College, and I do think that my view on entrepreneurship changed throughout this program, in that it became much clearer. And before, I used to think that it is a complicated or pretty complicated like series of events, but it's clear to me now. And it's something that I want to do more in my future now that I understand it more. What I liked most about the program is that it has been divided into smaller bite-sized pieces. So it's easier to understand, and it isn't like one big lesson that I have to learn all at once. What I liked least, or what was hardest for me, was maybe to follow everything that was being done on web development module. since there wasn't much application, and it was just like taking in a lot of information. And I think it would have been better had there been like some type of application, although I know it's hard to do that. And the
So
concept
just on
I
that,
use,
before you continue on that particular note, thank you for that. And I would say, Samer, maybe it wasn't very clear from our side, but we were expecting you to be applying as you go because it's a recorded video. So you simply can pause and do apply what the instructor is doing. And probably you, if you haven't done that, you will have to do it in the prototyping module. Why? Because we expect you to go over the steps that were shared with you in the web development module to create your own prototype, which is the website using WordPress. So basically, this is our expectation. So do let me know if that was clear. If not, then we will send a few emails to make sure we clarify it or update some things on the platform. But it is not too late to apply the steps in the web development module. Actually, you need to do that for your prototype.
I'll do that then. The concept that I think I'll keep with me the most is maybe market research and identifying your audience in terms of actually not creating an abstract idea and an abstract solution, but actually maybe interacting with those people first and speaking to them and the things you mentioned along those lines. The social startup idea we're working on so far is mainly logistics between and communication between different NGOs. So we're trying to create a platform that is based on a point system where you can like speak with different NGOs and collaborate with our NGO to have like cleanups. Mainly we were thinking like cleanups in, I don't think we were so focused on beach cleanups as much as garbage cleanups, more in like natural reserves and the forest. Okay? And yeah, that's about it so far.
Mm-hmm. So that's really nice because you can have like excursions where you have fun, but also they are purposeful. So we are going hiking, but we're gonna also be picking up. So you can couple it really with that, just so that it's a bit more exciting for people. But it is a special kind of a hiking trip, let's say, or whatever. So we are going there, we can have fun, we can do whatever they do usually, but we're gonna be picking up, a lot of waste along the way as well. And maybe have some incentive to, like, I don't know, I don't want to complicate it, but like you have to think of like, because the biggest problem in such ideas is like, how do we motivate people to be part of this? You know what I mean? So there should be always some kind of motivation, whether it's like the fun, it's the community work, or like some reward. Just think of the incentive.
Yeah, for that, I was thinking we could have like a point system, and then at the end of the point system, there's like a reward, like cash or a gift card, for example. I'm just giving you an example, like something like that.
Yeah, don't think cash. Okay, this for everyone, because it's always more difficult to have cash, but you can have a lot of sponsors or partners that are willing to give like in-kind donations, like some products, some, discounts, some coupons, you know what I mean? But whenever it has to do with like cash, it's more difficult. It's always more difficult, yeah.
And I think I was going to say something else, but I can't remember. Since there are already so many NGOs focused on cleanups and like there's a Lebanon Mountain Trail. I remember they were I think they're going to do some sort of cleanup on the trail. I don't know if you know the NGO.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they were like, since there are already so many, we could have like links between them on our platform, so that people can, so that first of all, the different NGOs can work together and like maximize their impact.
Okay, so this, for example, this particular point could be definitely a future plan, because if you put it now, it will overcomplicate your solution. So you say, and we plan to have a space for NGOs to collaborate together so that, okay, but you do not have to neither prototype it now nor have it an integral part of your solution at this stage, because this is obviously a next step. I'll tell you why. Because Samer, you still don't exist. Your solution doesn't exist yet. It has zero credibility, zero presence, zero track record. So why would NGOs collaborate through you? You know what I mean? So definitely you need to have the track record, the credibility before that, which means this is definitely not to start with, but a future step. So if you did things right, if you were able to prove that your concept is successful, then you should be able to attract those NGOs at one point in order to collaborate. So you know what I mean? So always think what should go first, what should go next, and plan accordingly. This will definitely improve your pitch and give you an edge over the others.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's take somebody who's not from IC, if possible, just for sake of diversity. I'm trying to look. Yara Bukaroum, are you at IC or another school? IC too? Okay, so we'll get back to you if we don't find somebody who's not. William Malik?
Yeah, I'm IC.
Come on, nice. I'm IC, by the way. IC alumni a very long time ago. Rani Zaitoun.
I see you also.
Ramzi, how are that? Ramzi? Or
Yes, I think he's.
Ralph, Khaled?
Yes, I can go.
Hi, yalla.
1 second. Okay, hello, my name is Ralph Khaled. I'm in SSC Najon. Okay, so did your view on entrepreneurship change? Okay, yes, it changed because I thought it was only about business, but it's an idea that can help society economically and socially. So it's a two-in-one. What I most like about the program is, I guess, the web development, because it was cool and I like designing things. And also I thought making a website was all about coding and I hate coding. So it was great to know that there's WordPress and yes. What is one concept? I think the concept that I'll be using is market researching, because it's the most effective technique to use, in life and in businesses and stuff. What social startup? Okay, we're working on reducing the water pollution in the Litani River. So we're doing like a gamified and rewarded platform that everyone can participate in, and you can get rewards. That's how we encourage people to reduce water pollution. And there are like small competitions and challenges, daily challenges and stuff that anyone can follow and that are easy. And what is the biggest challenge you're facing? What do you mean by this question?
And implementing or in bringing your solution forward, like in the program, do you have any challenges?
Oh, I guess we need a bigger team, because it's yes, it's a little bit complicated, but yes.
Okay, so my answer to that, if you think it's complicated, make sure you narrow it down, okay? Litani River, I really liked your problem because it was very specific. It's not like water pollution in general, it's like Litani, but still Litani River is not small, huh? So make sure you, for example, say everyone. Who is everyone? You maybe need to think more about your target audience. Maybe it's not everyone to start with. You want to have incentives for specific people who are really polluting or contributing and polluting the river. So it could be, for example, I don't know, fishermen, or it could be businesses, or like plants, or I don't know, anything. You want to think about it and don't just think from your perspective, like what could be a nice incentive. Think from their perspective. This is where you should empathize to see what could be a good incentive for those target markets and not just yourself. I say you are working on a great problem, but it is very tricky. You should know that, right? Because even the government hasn't been able to find a solution to the pollution of the Litani River. So it's a very important problem, yet it's very tricky. So make sure you do your research well in order to choose the best way to start with this. Anybody else would like to speak, because we need to close the rooms. So if anybody else, okay, I think people are starting to come back.
Hi, Mona, we finished.
Okay, awesome.
Oh.
So if anybody else would really like to go from my group, guys, you are free to do that. Otherwise, we will go back to the program.
I was mean لأنه أنت you're leaving it optional and I picked on people.
No, I did pick on some, don't worry. It's my favorite hobby as a teacher, like choose names in Zoom, especially those who have their cameras closed. Okay, so I will share my screen again, waiting for the rest to come back. So who would like to tell us some insights from the breakout room? So if we can have some reflections.
So should I start, or should we leave the floor to like the students? I can tell you some.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So basically, it was very fruitful. All of the group went. There were things that they have in common, and there were other things that were very different in feedback. So they're basically all really enjoying it. The main problem or main challenge they all have is that time management. So they're overwhelmed with their exams, they're overwhelmed with their assignments, and sometimes it gets a bit too much. So this is like the most commonly stated challenge that they mentioned. So that was it. What they really love about Shabab Lab, and I loved, like I wrote some notes when they were speaking. So they all thought that entrepreneurship was about money. So they all thought that they needed money to start, and it was like a common consensus that they don't necessarily need that much money to start. They just need to feel driven. And they also mentioned that it's not just about making money, it's about changing the community. They mentioned that they felt a bit hopeful that they can do something to change. So I'm not going to mention like each of their topics.
Yes, sure.
Several mentioned that they would like for the chat box to be more active, so they would like to get faster replies when they have questions. Another thing they loved is that they could do it at 1 a.m., they could do it at 10 a.m., and they could do it anytime basically, and that there was no one following them like closely, and they felt like independent, and that they could do it at their own pace. There was a lot of more feedback, but I think I want to leave some time for the rest. But the two things I noted down that I needed to for you to address was that I had a couple of students having too many, they have too many ideas, and they don't know which one to choose. So they have too many ideas and they're not sure which one to choose and based on what. I have some others who are not being able to come up with ideas that are new. So they feel like everything they come up with is very repetitive and very saturated. That's basically it. Like some people felt like they were more interested in web development, some felt less interested in web development. So they all this was the course that they had different opinions on. The rest they really enjoyed, but some people were not very IT oriented and said that they wished that they had an option not to do it if their solution isn't related to web development. And I have a lot more to say, but I leave some time for the rest. But it was very fruitful.
That's amazing. I want to tell anyone who is really facing a lot of trouble, making up their minds or differentiating themselves, you can simply drop me an email. It's at mona@shabablab.com.
I'll
It's
send
as
her
simple as
email.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, great. So now I think it's Sarah's room.
Yeah, great. So my room was really on fire as well. I would like to thank all the people who put their cameras on. So actually what I want to do is I'll pick Chris because he's been very motivated from the start. Chris, I want you to share with us, if you give the others a brief of what we've done in our room, and also the rest of the team. Please feel free to add to what Chris has said, and also be very give us your input in the chat. So use all the tools that you have. Yalla, Chris.
Yes, the major issue that everyone is facing is time management because of exam and overwhelming assignment, etc. And everyone found that the program is very instructive and is user friendly, I guess. And it's all what I got.
Okay, cool. Anyone else wants to add? I know there are people. There is a Carl who was also. We had two Carls, but there is a Carl who was really enjoying this. So if you want to speak up, I don't remember your family name. But in the meantime, if you don't want to unmute, I also want. We also discussed the session today. We discussed not just the platform, but also how the entrepreneurial and how this Shabab Lab program can help them in their career and in success in the business as well, and get the skills that are required really for today's workplace. So it was very interactive. People gave their opinion, they asked questions. So if no one wants to add anything, I'll leave the floor to Wasim's room.
Basically, we had the same issues as Yasmin, for example, the time management. Basically, especially the St. Kirk students, they have lots of exams, so they were complaining a little bit about having the time for the assignments. But I told them that the time for the assignments, it's just for show. You have actually 2 extra days, 3 extra days from the real submission date. So there's no problem, and they will never close. So you can actually resubmit anytime you want and continue doing whatever you want. I made all of this clear. Now, what they liked the most about Shabab Lab, for example, they went into specific details. For example, the timing of the videos, they said it was perfect, maximum of 5 minutes. The interactivity in the questions, also the supplementary materials. Now, what they didn't like about it, the least liked things, like I said, were the timing, the time management. They needed some ways for more direct communication with us. For example, weekly video sessions with them to encourage them to talk to them more. Now, this is why a huge feedback for us actually. In addition, what they learned, how entrepreneurship was different for them now, the social media post we created before. If you want, guys, go check Shabab Lab on Facebook, on Instagram, follow us. Anyways, the different, most people fail to differentiate between a businessman and an entrepreneur. So I explained to them more about the difference between them, and this was very important. Most of them thought an entrepreneur was someone who wears a gray suit and a tie. That was it. Anyways, so most of them refused to share their idea except for one. Another thing, one financing, what is the biggest challenge they were facing? Mostly it was about this whole challenge was a challenge for them. This whole program is a challenge for them because it's something new. That's what most of them said.
And this is exactly what we want. We want to challenge you. We want you to get out of your comfort zone, to think of new things, think out of the box. Okay, this is what we really need. So thank you for all the feedback. And I want to just comment on one thing for the web development, whether you liked it or not, this will help you also know your career orientation later on, whether you want to do, something related to tech or maybe something that's more on the softer side. So it is always good to have this early exposure to hard skills and to technology. And as one of my my folks in the room said, like, I thought it's about coding and I hate coding, but I realized that I can create a website with very minimal coding or no coding at all. So this is another good thing for you to know. Even if you're not that much into technology, there are a lot of technology tools that you can use that will make your life easier and allow you to create these meaningful projects and solutions that can help the world. Now, as you can see, we have a few ways for you to communicate with us. We will take your feedback and improve the platform. However, for now, we have to stick with what we have. I want to say that although, yes, it's true that you do have a few more days for submissions, but we would really like to stick with the final submission deadline, which is May 25th, whenever it is for the pitch, okay, the final pitch, because we are really limited by your schools and your closing date and exam dates and so on. We don't want to push this too much. Yes, Sarah?
I just wanted to say something regarding the time, because this is something that apparently we all heard. And although I want to let you know that we all took notes, notebook, and we will address all the feedback. As I told the team that I had in my room, think of it as a good prep for you to have good time management and planning skills, because once you're at university and later after university, it doesn't get better. You will always have a lot to do. So you need to figure out how you can maximize the productivity and efficiency of your time. So yeah, I just wanted for you to know that. So yeah.
I totally agree, Sarah. I always used to tell my students at AUB, guys, if you think this is too much, you haven't seen anything in the world. And they tell me, really, like, we won't be done whenever we finish university. I tell them, no, that's just the beginning.
Right.
So I want you now, guys, as a checkout activity. It won't take long, I promise. We'll be done before iftar time for those who are fasting. I'm one of those. I want you to go to menti.com really quickly on your phone if you'd like, and use the code 86617358 so that we have a final checkout, please.
Yeah, Mona, also they wanted to tell you that they also needed some professional help if they needed help with anything for their ideas, for example.
What do you mean professional help? Mentorship?
Jane Sabbagh would like to explain more, give her more details about it.
Yes, for the prototyping, for example, if we need any help with some ideas, because our ideas, we have various ideas, and some of them we need like some professional help. Can we ask, or can we have?
So yeah, feel free to send us anything by email. If you have any specific question related to WordPress and the prototype on WordPress, Wasim can help you. If you have any question when it comes to the entrepreneurial side, I can, or Sarah as well, she can help you. And of course, you can either like send me directly or send us on the platform, or you can relay this question through your supervisors who are communicating directly with Yasmin as well. So we can get you covered, but make sure just make your ask or request a little bit more specific so we know exactly what you're talking about. So tell me exactly where you think you need the help. Tell me exactly what you have in mind and where you're struggling, just so that we know how to help you. All right?
Yes, of course. But now it's because we don't want to spoil the ideas.
Okay, no problem. All right, so guys, I need more of you to join Menti, please, if possible, so that we can start with the checkout questions.
I like that I see fun, I see interactive. Hope that the people when we started, they were more on the anxious and tired, and now they're more on the energetic end of the emotions wheel.
That's good. Good indication, good signs.
Yeah.
All right, so can we have more people? We are more than 50, but we only have 30 in Menti.
Yalla guys, we're almost done.
The faster we do this, the faster we finish.
Eye-opening. I like that one. Fruitful. Great. That's nice. Engaging. Educational. Instructive. Needed. Great. Creative. Awesome. I like that one. Okay.
Great. So we have more people joining. Yalla, yalla, yalla. Let's move fast. All right. So I think I'll move to the next one.
Okay.
Okay, so guys, here you just need to slide your cursor and tell us if you agree or disagree with the statement. So the first one is the Shabab Lab platform is friendly. Second one, the content is engaging. Third one, the content is relevant to your needs. And the last one, the assignments are straightforward. All right, great. So we are happy to see the positive feedback. And again, we'll be taking all your constructive criticism positively to improve further and further. Now, I also want to ask you, are you enjoying the teamwork? Make sure you do, as Sarah mentioned, are you excited to present your solution at the end of this program? Would you like to be part of Shabab Lab again next year with a new program? So a new technology and a new theme and a new social aspect to the program? And do you believe that your team will win? One of my folks in the room said that we're not here to win, we're here to make change. And I loved it.
That's amazing. That's winning.
Exactly.
So Muna, we have someone who doesn't have a team here. Shall he send us an email?
Yes, if he would like to create a team, then yes. But if the school allows him or her to work individually, then that will be fine as well for this year. And just a sneak peek for next year's program in grade 11. We will also, we will actually have augmented reality, and we will be tackling 2 SDGs, SDG number 3, good health and well-being, and SDG number 4, quality education. And the instructor of the augmented reality is actually with us today. Can you guess?
هلا لوصل الدمع ياسي I'm answering on the chat. Okay, so it's Muna at shabablab.com, right, Muna?
Yes.
.com. There you go. This is the email you should use. And also just commenting on this thing, if you have the option to work individually, try to shy away from that, because you need to really build team working skills. That's in demand today, and it's essential for you to have.
Yes, and at this stage, we will try, if you would still like to be part of a team, we'll try to see what problem you are working on, and if there's any other team working on a similar solution, and trying to like hook you up together to see if that works. Okay, so we will do our best. And now the last slide before the last, I think the one before the last is, do you believe that now you can be a social innovator? You can apply design thinking, you can create a website, you can come up with sustainable solutions to social or environmental problems, you can be a social entrepreneur, and you can be a responsible citizen. So thank you for everyone who's contributing on Mentimeter. And one last thing is rank the program modules. Like if you can just tell us based on your preference, which one was the best and like the order. It's just for us to know what you like the best, really. And we don't have the last module yet, which is pitching, because it wasn't open. Like it's gonna be opening up tomorrow, and it's really the the last one and the one which will prepare you for your final pitch. And for next year's program, it will be it won't be just over 2 months. It will be over 4 months. So you will have more time. But for this year, we had to squeeze it because we only launched in March, and it's again a pilot program for this year, and hopefully we are seeing it's very successful. So hopefully we will be working with your schools and with more schools beyond Lebanon too, starting next fall. So I'm really glad you like design thinking the most, because guys, for me, this is the really the skill that if you grasp, it will make your lives 100 times easier in everything, in like any kind of problem that you want to solve, whether it has to do with technology or not, whether it has to do with a social problem or not. It will really help you to ace that problem solving by empathizing first with the people who are facing the problem, creating a better understanding of the problem itself, and then trying to come up with different solutions that apply. So I'm really glad to see that. Second is web development. That's also really good to show us that a lot of you have enjoyed this aspect. And again, this is a technology for a good program. We really want you to create technological solutions to help humanity and to improve the world that we live in. And finally, tell us how we can do better. This is open-ended and optional. Just tell us how we can do better. And thank you so much. If anybody needs to leave now, you are free to do so. And if you have any questions for me or any of the team, Sarah, Wasim, and Yasmin, we are here for like 5 more minutes. So you can definitely jump and answer our questions.
Thank you.
No problem, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, if anybody has a specific question, I'm here to answer.
Everyone wants more time.
Yes, time is always a problem, guys. Remember,
Time.
Here we'll give you more time, but you'll still feel that you need more time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
So again, remember, we're here to answer any questions. You can reach out to us by email, and we really ask you to follow us on social media and interact with us through the platform community channel as well. So with that said, thank you everyone so much. Eid Mubarak to everybody who will be celebrating Eid, and enjoy your break for the rest. I hope it will be a good like a break for everybody, and stay safe. And I hope to have more interactions with you, and we will be communicating soon some details about the grand event, the grand finale of the program. Thank you so much, and have a great iftar or great evening.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.